Hello, so let's start off with understanding the controller section in Phalcon. In MVC framework, as it mentions, C stands for the controller, where the switchboards are they're switchboards of the web application. The action undertaken by the controller helps to pass parameters to the view so that it can display and respond to the user input accordingly. For example, if we register through sign-up form, which includes details of user like username, email address and password, and click on the submit button, the data inserted or posted by the user is sent through the controller with the help of the associated action or a kind of a function. So let's have an overview with this diagram. So first of all, the feature of the controller, as I mentioned in the previous chapter, it acts like an intermediary between the model and view. Controller accepts input from the view, interacts with the associated model. It helps in updating model state by sending commands to the model. It can also send commands to the associated view, which helps in changing the presentation of the view as per the model's state. Controller acts as an intermediary between a model and a view. So this is a complete workflow of a controller. So controller in all, I can say that it is nothing but the major part, or you can say it plays a major role in your project. So let's move on to our project. First of all, I would like to say that I have already created a project. It's here. The project name is Demo1, which is successfully created inside htdocs Demo1. So let's move to our folder. So this is our folder with Demo1, and it has some kind of the associated controllers inside the controllers folder. The two main controllers is index controller and controller base. So these are the by default controllers associated in the Phalcon project. So let's start off with the first step, like initialization. First of all, I'll take it in the command prompt. In the command prompt, I'll start with creation of a controller. So how to create a controller? It's quite simple. The command for creating the controller is Phalcon controller name. Like the way we created the project, in a similar way, we'll create a controller, that is Phalcon controller, which means that we are going to create a controller and the controller name. So my controller name is nothing but demo. So I'll just say demo. Okay, so we need to associate ourselves in the Phalcon directory, cd demo 1. Yeah. So now I'll execute this command. Yes, successful. The controller demo has been successful created. If you see in the associated folder, immediately it gets reflected that demo controller.php is clearly visible over there. Now, important thing, the class name of the controller must have the suffix control. So whatever the controller, I said demo, so it created demo controller.php. Now this is actually done for good naming convention, which is followed in Phalcon. So let's start with it. So I'm going to open this file. So this is my controller. So the class demo controller extends Phalcon MVC controller. As you can see, it extends a particular class, that is Phalcon MVC controller. So inside public function index action. Index action is nothing but the method, event, or like you can say a default function which a controller hits once it has been called. So let's say public function index action. Here I will mention like this is my first application. So I need to print that. So I'll say echo and this is my first Phalcon application. Okay. So I have written about it. Now one more thing I need to check, like if you just go to the browser and just say demo1, for example localhost demo1, so it will redirect you to the particular view, this view, that is views index vault. For now I'll create that, like I will keep a blank output in that particular view so that we can understand whether the index action has been properly called or not. So let's go to our views folder. Inside index vault, let's open it. So for now I'm just going to remove this particular part. You can just comment it out because it's nothing but a HTML file which is saved in Volt format. We'll understand about this .volt extension in the chapter of Phalcon views. So for now, I'm just commenting this particular part and let's see what is the output. So let's check out to the output. I'm going over here. I'm going to reload this page. So it's showing blank, which means that your particular action is being triggered properly with index action. So that is done with the help of routing. Let's go to our routes.php and understand whether it has been done or not properly. But yeah, there's no association with routing because properly we need to check it in our demo controller. So here we can for now mention that it extends controller base, because if it goes to the class thing, some or the other issues will definitely happen. So I'll just mention it extends controller base so that properly it will trigger the index function. So this is my controller base. So let's check out for the output. I'm going through the browser again. I'm going to reload it. The output is clearly visible. This is my first Phalcon application. So in this way, it interacts with the views. So we saw how it interacts with the view. In the next chapter, we'll focus on Phalcon models, like how models are created, how we get it immediately with the particular database structure. We saw that MySQL adapters are by default included in Phalcon architecture. So we'll use a MySQL database structure. We'll create a database and understand it completely in the next chapter.